Hi, I'm Greta.
And I'm Claudia. Welcome to Knitters and Critters, where we talk about all things Critical Role and, of course, our own knitting projects.
This week's episode of Critical Role is called Behind the Curtain, and it opens with our adventuring group at the theater watching a Cirque du Soleil-style performance put on by Kendra's Flying Lauders. The performance is going pretty well until an unfortunate dice roll sends one of the poor performers crashing into the
It's
stage.
like the Flying Graysons all over again.
Ooh, yeah. It was a rough landing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it does call the performance to an early end, and the act is up.
Yeah, and at that point, the group really doesn't want to leave because
Right.
that is their only lead as of the moment. So they try to sweet talk their way, backstage.
They try so hard.
They try. Laudna starts doing some very creative thaumaturgy. First she goes, fire!
She pulls the proverbial fire alarm there.
Right, in a theater. And then she, does some more so people smell smoke, and then does some more so, people see smoke.
Yeah.
And, Matt is going, I think, that's going to maybe a little,
that might be
questionable.
The reach of thaumaturgy. Just a cantrip.
But it works. So the remaining patrons, kind of start heading out, and our group, goes backstage. And this time they do run into Stuvan.
Yeah, Stuvan Idrio.
Yeah, and he's the one who runs the whole show.
Yeah. They run right into him, like the worst person you could have met when you're trying to be sneaky.
Yeah. They do, he's not really interested in interacting with them, as most people really aren't. But then Letter says, he can heal the performer that fell, the injured performer. And Imogen says, well, we were watching from the,
We
boxes.
were just up there in the box.
The boxes, they're very expensive.
So worried.
Boxes. Which tells them they have money to spare. And as we mentioned in our last episode, coin opens doors.
Yeah.
So it kind of does in this
It
case
does in
as
this
well.
case, yeah. So they get backstage, and Letters tends to the injured performer, and while they do their healing thing, they also kind of ask about the people who have gone missing, which is the entire reason they're at the theater to begin with, to try to solve this mystery. Stuvan overhears this and vehemently denies that there's anything sketchy going on with the performers until he gets everyone into his office, and then he kind of cops to the truth. It's not just one or two people who have gone missing from the theater, but 6 in total.
Yeah.
And he's rightfully freaking out. The warders have been there, but their investigation hasn't led to anything but some uncomfortable questions for Stuvan.
Right.
And there's really nothing connecting all of the people who have gone missing, which is interesting and worrisome. Of the 6 people, I think 3 of them were guests. One of them was a performer from a traveling troupe that came through, and 2 more were just employees. And the group says, we'll look into it for you. And Stuvan's a little sketchy about this, but you could kind of tell that he's pretty desperate.
Yeah.
So he's like, fine, whatever. It's worth a shot. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
why not?
Go ahead and look around. Talk to my people. I'll give you permission. In the most low-key, scathing way you could possibly do.
Be subtle, which is
subtle.
Something this group does not do.
Yeah. And during all of this, Orem and Laudna actually aren't in the office with everybody else because they had seen someone kind of hanging out in the back of the theater looking a little bit sketchy. So they attempt to follow this person and track them and immediately lose the person in the crowd. Those darn dice.
Yep.
Which was funny because they actually rolled pretty high. At least I think Orem did.
Right.
But whoever they were following must have been one stealthy motherfucker. Yeah. They got away. They kind of return empty-handed. The group starts their investigation. It doesn't really seem to lead anywhere until they talk to the gnomish bookkeeper, Tefta, I think is her name. My favorite NPC of the game so far. Isn't she delightful?
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
She is Steel Magnolias, Lady of Leisure,
Yep.
is more than happy to spill the tea with what's been going on in the theater. She's got the hot goss about 2 of the guests that went missing, Eden Caldwell and, what was the other guy's name? Amir Lioto. apparently those two were having an affair and met in the very box that our group were watching their performance in. They would meet there, and then during the production, they would sneak out somewhere and go do their business, and then come back before the curtain came back up.
Right.
One of the performers that went missing, or the only performer that went missing, actually got into a big old fight with their troupe and like stormed out, never to be seen from again. And it kind of tracks with some information that they got from the stage manager, and I think it's Orem who mentioned that like everyone seems to be getting drawn outside.
Yeah.
Which, fair. And in fact, the only piece of physical evidence that they find in the theater was in their box. There was like a little scrawled message in one of the word work that said outside. So it seems like everyone's being drawn outside where they then disappear.
Yeah.
So, of course, they go outside.
Yeah.
And Imogen, being a little bit cautious, does her open mind trick to see if she can like hear somebody waiting in the alley. She doesn't hear anything other than like a fuzzy sort of resonance.
Yeah.
Like a presence is there, but it's not clear what it is.
Right.
And Letters does their detect thoughts, and they kind of come with the same question.
Yeah, there's some kind of entity, but maybe not one that communicates through words.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because like usually with the detect thoughts, you could at least tell if someone's there, but if it's not something that operates that way, that makes sense that they wouldn't have clear thoughts.
Yeah.
So, of course, they go deeper into the alley, and that's when all hell breaks loose. The back alley wall actually isn't a wall at all. It's some kind of, like, mimic-style creature with tentacles that's apparently really hungry because it grabs, I think, Loudna first and almost eats her a couple times. I think Orem almost got eaten.
Yeah.
It was a pretty nasty fight. The creature had a really good, like, acid attack that dealt a lot of damage.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly for a minute there.
Yeah.
But our boy Dorian
seriously
got the how do you want to do this? He's rolling so freakishly well this campaign.
I don't know what the group is going to do when Dorian leaves. Because that's like they're closer.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the new opening. The new intro.
We should talk about the new opening.
We'll talk about it after we're done with this whole spiel. Anyway, Dorian gets the kill. He like casts this chromatic orb using a diamond, I think it is chest plate. And the creature basically not quite liquefies, but it dies and like regurgitates a bunch of bones that they're kind of
it's probably all the missing people. Yeah.
Like sorting through when the Wilders finally show up, like where are the cops, people? This city's supposed to be crawling with fuzz. Yeah. It's funny, the Wilders event, like initially, like their first reaction is to blame Stuvan Idrio for all this, and he's like, why would I do this to my own theater?
Right, yeah.
And I think it's the ticket taker who says to them, like there were people here a couple weeks ago fixing the wall. Obviously the wall never got fixed, and either the people placed the creature there,
right,
or maybe got eaten by them.
Yeah.
Regardless, it kind of takes the steam out of the Wilders, and they let Stuvan take the group inside.
Yeah, he's glad to have the heat off his back, and rewards them with some, pretty nice coin, gold and platinum, which is pretty nice.
And like season tickets too.
Yeah. Well, they ask for season tickets. They go back outside and investigate a little bit more. The Wilders are there, so they kind of have to be stealthy, especially Fern, who, of course, God bless her.
Her idea of investigating is taking
things. She steals some teeth, and Imogen also does a little bit of, 5-finger discount, and pockets a sphere that she kind of finds puncturing the mimic's body.
Like it's anchoring it to the wall. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. And then they turn to leave, and then they see the small cloaked figure kind of at the end of the alley. Imogen starts reaching out, doing her mind thing, and it is none other than
Travis fucking Willingham.
Playing another old man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they're suspicious of this person who introduces himself as
Chetney Puckapee.
an elderly gnome who happens to have woodworking tools. I mean, come on. Is this just another throwaway character? Because obviously when this came out, Christmas was just right around the corner, and this character does very much look like my elf on the shelf after the dog got to it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I've seen one too many Christmases.
Chetney's looking for a friend who's gone missing.
Who's gone missing.
So, he kind of saw the group deal with the mimic, and he's like, could we help each other?
Yeah.
And the group is sort of like, I mean, out of all people to be suspicious, the group has like no right to be suspicious of anyone, but they are suspicious of Chetney.
They are very suspicious of Chetney.
Yeah. So they take him back to the Spire by Fire to sort of talk a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's where the episode ends, and we're just going to have to wait until next week to figure out what the hell Travis has in store with this character.
Yeah.
It's really kind of putting a damper on my theory that he's going to be actually playing a Shad Braccio, so... I don't know.
That still could happen. It could be like he'll play 7 little dwarf men, tiny men.
Macaroni will come next, right?
Yeah, Macaroni Samsonite. I mean, he should make an appearance.
Oh, yes. But they did. We were going to talk about the new opening.
The new opening
that they did.
Yeah, I kind of have some mixed feelings about it.
So do I. I was so fond of the one from the season 2.
Your Turn to Roll. I think. Oh my goodness!
In part because my oldest daughter Lorelai was so obsessed with
she
that song.
loves that.
Like the minute it comes on, she could be having a tantrum and she'll hear the critical roll, and she'll just stop and like stare. I mean, it's like wonderful parenting on my part, but but she. So I don't know if this one will have the same kind of siren song effect on her. I'll have to give it a try.
I kind of feel like maybe this is going to be their
opening until they establish,
because it didn't have the characters.
Yeah,
it had them.
Kind of like play acting.
Yeah, play acting. I like the fact that Dorian was included, although he wasn't included at the very end, when they have like the whole cast shot, because he isn't.
Which I didn't actually connect until you had mentioned that to me on our group text that we've got going.
He wasn't.
No, that does kind of confirm that he's not here for the long haul.
Well, he's not one of the, the founding members, which is fine, but I hope the fact that he was included in the video at all means that even if Dorian leaves, maybe he'll be like a recurring character who comes back, because I really do think that not just in the game with all his 20s and finishing kills, but I do think Robbie really does a good job of interacting. Like you can always sort of feel when they have a guest that the guest is sort of just like this and trying so hard to remember what they're doing that there is not really a lot of interaction with the rest of the cast.
And he's such a generous acting scene partner. Like he's always the person that seems to be trying to set up people to do the spike. He's a great addition.
Yeah, that's a really good metaphor.
And I'm always so impressed by how freaking talented these people are. Their singing voices. So I think everyone sang a little bit in the opening.
Yeah, I didn't know Liam sang.
Dang, yeah, So,
they all they sing, they act, they play.
They play D&D.
When they clean up incredibly well. Yeah. So, I hope that at some point we do get maybe just animated with their actual characters once Travis is on board. I did like it. I like the whole video, but I mean, for me, Your Turn to Roll still
something
my
special.
ride or die.
Yeah. It's gonna be my ringtone forever.
Yeah, Lorelai will appreciate that. Yes.
Well, I think that kind of wraps this segment. Should we switch over to knitting? What's on your needles these days?
But first, let's take a break.
For our not sponsor, but someday, some more Werthers. It's going to be like
our show candy. So I am still sort of planning my future endeavors for the new year. There is this yarn that I have that is dear to my heart, not only because it's called buffalo plaid. And if you know me, you know, I am the queen of buffalo plaid. I will show up in one of these episodes in full headband to socks, buffalo plaid.
It's going to be our pajama episode.
It's going to be our pajama episode. You know, and of course it has the red and the black mixed. But also, Northwood's Fibers is a local, very, very local. They're over here in Menominee Falls. Sorry, not walls, falls. So they're very close to us. They're a local dyer. They do sell their yarn at my beloved Cream City Yarn. So I like to support local. I like to support women-owned businesses, and you know, the perfect.
It's a beautiful color too.
Colorway, yeah, for me. I do have a couple of ideas of what I want to do with this. There is an Ola pullover that has big lacy sleeves. I will put the picture up here.
Okay.
But if anyone has any other suggestions, I do have a sweater quantity. I have about 1,200 yards of this, and it's, you know, sock weight.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful, and it is definitely a colorway that I would wear all the time. Yeah. Other than that, I am wearing
beautiful.
my absolute, you know, I mean, is there anything more perfect?
It's completely on brand.
Yeah. Critical Knit by Suki Mountain. And it has, as you can see, different dyes. And the moment I saw this pattern, I'm like, I need to make it, I need to have it, I need to wear it. And then when, you know, I go around my closet kind of looking, what am I going to wear? I'm like, I have to wear this at some point. I mean, it's just,
it's right there.
It's right here. So I absolutely love it. Give her a follow. She has a lot of fun. She also did a knit along, and the pattern was called 100% That Witch. And it was all like different witchy motifs, and it was like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Because it had, like, at one point it was like a row of words, and you could choose the words that you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, like spells or, you know, different things like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Someday we should do
You
something
can do
similar.
it. You've been doing cables. You can do color work. You can do color work. You can. So yes, this is definitely a very loved top.
And we've got the link to the pattern below, so please do go check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I could say that I've been working on stuff. I was doing the Bose bracers last week.
I love this. I might have to make those too.
Yeah, I'm still working on them. I'm like under deadline right now for book 3, so things have been a little bit chaotic on the home front, trying to get those edits in.
Yeah. Very excited.
Very excited. This book is so much fun.
I love the book.
I'm really excited. It's going to be a long wait, unfortunately, before it actually comes out. Still
that's
2023, but that's the breaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first round of edits has been going pretty well. We'll see what the publisher says once I get that
Such
big
a
edit
good
letter
story.
back. But yeah, it's like
excited.
Firefly but fantasy, so it's like heisty and found family, and there's magic and gun battles, and you know, it's very swashbuckling adventure. So
I'll have to read it.
Yeah, once I have a cover, you guys will be the first to see. Don't worry. I think that's all that we've got for you guys this week. Leave any comments for us below, like and subscribe, and have a good day.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.